Warframe in 2026. I finally gave it a chance. I've got to be honest. Warframe has been sitting in my Steam library for ages. I'd heard people talk about it for years. Every now and then, I'd see someone online saying it was one of the best free games ever made, but for some reason, I just never got around to trying it. I think part of the reason was because it's free, and let's be honest, when someone says a game is free to play, most of us expect the same thing: pay-to-win mechanics, constant pop-ups asking for money, or a game that's fun for an hour before you uninstall it. So I kept putting it off. Well, a few days ago I finally decided to download it and see what all the fuss was about. I've only put around 3 hours into it so far. So this isn't a review from someone who's spent 1,000 hours in the game. This is the opinion of someone who's completely new to Warframe. And honestly, I think that's actually useful, because if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're in exactly the same position I was. You're wondering, is this game actually worth downloading in 2026? Or is it only popular because people have been playing it for years? After those first few hours, I can already tell you one thing. I completely understand why this game still has such a huge community. The first thing that really surprised me was just how good everything feels. The movement, the combat, even the graphics. None of it feels like a game that's over 10 years old. Within the first half an hour, I was already bullet jumping across rooms, sliding under enemies, running along walls, and honestly, once you start getting used to the movement, it's incredibly satisfying. At first, you're probably going to look like an idiot. I definitely did. I was jumping into walls, missing platforms, and generally making a mess of things, but then something clicks. You start chaining everything together. Suddenly you're flying across the map without even thinking about it, and that's when Warframe really starts to shine. I've played plenty of shooters over the years, but I genuinely can't think of another one that feels quite like this. Moving around is almost as enjoyable as actually fighting enemies. Speaking of combat, that was another surprise. Everything feels fast. Weapons have real impact. Melee combat is satisfying. And because enemies come at you from every direction, there's rarely a moment where you're just standing still. You're constantly moving, shooting, switching weapons, using abilities, and then jumping straight into the next fight. It keeps the pace up all the time. Another thing I wasn't expecting was how good the game actually looks. Considering Warframe first came out over a decade ago, I honestly thought it would feel dated. Instead, some of the environments genuinely look fantastic. The lighting still holds up. The character designs look unique, and the different planets all have their own atmosphere. If someone told me this game released a few years ago, I probably wouldn't question it. One thing I've already noticed after only a few hours is that there's always something to work towards. At first you're unlocking weapons, then you're learning about crafting, then new missions appear. New planets become available. Different warframes start catching your attention. Every time you finish something, the game seems to give you another reason to keep going. I can already see why people end up spending hundreds of hours here. Now, I'm not saying everything's perfect, because it definitely isn't. No, the biggest issue I've had so far is understanding everything. Warframe throws a lot of information at you. Mods, blueprints, crafting, different resources, different currencies. There were definitely moments where I had to stop and think, what exactly am I meant to be doing now? I even ended up watching a couple of beginner guides just to make sure I wasn't missing something obvious. Personally, I don't think that's a deal breaker, but it's definitely something new players should know before downloading the game. If you're willing to push through that slightly confusing start, I honestly think you'll be rewarded for it. The more I played, the more comfortable everything started to feel, and the more I wanted to keep going. That's usually a good sign. If a game can make me lose track of time after only a few hours, it's clearly doing something right. So, would I recommend Warframe? Yeah, without a doubt, especially considering it's free. You've literally got nothing to lose, except a bit of download time. Is it perfect? No. Will you probably have to Google a few things? Definitely. But underneath that learning curve, there's an incredibly polished game with brilliant movement, satisfying combat, loads of progression and visuals that still look great all these years later. for a free game. That's genuinely impressive. If you've been putting Warframe off like I did, I'd say give it a chance. I wish I'd downloaded it sooner. And if you enjoyed this video and you're looking for more honest reviews on cheap games, free games and hidden gems, make sure you subscribe to Cheapskate Gamer. I've got plenty more coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.